What's up everyone, Luke here with another video. In today's video we talk about the first rule of phone flipping: never trust the customer. Second rule of phone flipping: refer to rule number 1. For those of you that got that, smash that thumbs up button. That being said, we're going to talk about why you shouldn't trust the customer today, some of personal experiences that I've had, and probably some experiences that you've had that you can also relate to. Let's go. Hey everyone, so we're going to be talking about why you shouldn't trust the customer, which is basically the first rule in phone flipping when it comes to negotiation tactics. So first off, I'm sure a lot of you can relate to this. Customers often lie. Now, I don't know if it's necessarily because they're in this situation where they're trying to get more money for their phone, but I did a little research on this, and so I just wanted to put a quick video together. So one, obviously, we are trying to buy phones from people who are typically desperate for money or they want to get rid of it. Oftentimes, people lie when they want to make themselves or something appear more likable or, in better condition. In fact, there's a lot of studies out there that 60% of people can't go 10 minutes without lying in a day-to-day conversation. Probably just because we're people and obviously, our memories aren't perfect, but people lie all the time. And so this isn't even related to phone flipping, but people lie in general around 60% of the time in a 10-minute conversation. So when you factor in that there's 60% lying within 10 minutes of a conversation, you got to ask yourself, how many times has a customer lied to you while you were actually trying to buy their phone? When customers try and scam you, or you show up and there's nicks in the screen or scratches or it's cracked or the camera doesn't work. So keep this in mind, especially for people who are newer to phone flipping. I see a lot of people do this when they're newer to phone flipping. They show up, they buy a phone, or they misappraise it because the customer lied to them and they're not firm enough to renegotiate the price. So keep in mind, 60% of people lie within 10 minutes of a conversation, and people who are selling you a phone are probably, 20% more apt to lie to you just because they are really trying to sell you the phone. They're trying to get the most money for their phone. They're trying to tell you, oh, it's in perfect condition. And then when you show up, it's cracked, something doesn't work, it's broken, or it's scratched. So this is something that you need to keep in mind whether you're new to phone flipping, especially if you're new to phone flipping, but even if you've been in the game a while, keep in mind that trusting the customer, 100%, you always kind of have to fact check what they say because one, sometimes people just don't know, but two, people lie. And so you've got to keep this in mind. Now, how to kind of avoid this situation is you can't. But when you show up and actually do the deal with the customer, you can renegotiate the price. And that's what kind of will make or break you when dealing with a customer that kind of lies or basically just kind of, misrepresents the condition of their phone when you meet up with them. Of course, you still want the deal. I mean, you got gas money into it. You're actually meeting the customer now, and you want to be professional and still get the deal. But it's kind of frustrating when you meet a customer and, they say it's in perfect condition. You get there and the screen's cracked. That's very frustrating. It's happened to me. Drop a comment down below if it's happened to you. I'm sure it has. But the best thing that you can do is kind of tell them and just kind of have a little heart-to-heart with them and say, hey, look, I have to resell this. You told me that it was perfect condition, and, I quoted you $100, but because the screen's cracked, the most I can do is $60, or the most I can do is $50. Try and negotiate with the customer and tell them, because oftentimes, especially since you don't have a personal relationship with the customer, if you show them why you need to pay less for it, and there isn't any strings attached, they don't have any, biased feelings towards you. If you just tell them, hey, you didn't describe it to me, accurately, and I've got to be able to resell this, 9 times out of 10, the customer will be willing to negotiate with you and accept the new price because they honestly did forget or, they did kind of fib a little bit and misrepresented the condition of the phone. Now, the worst case scenario is the 1 out of 10 time where the customer, thinks that they're absolutely right. Honestly, if you can't get the deal for a price where you're going to profit, even if it's just a little bit, because obviously you got time into it, so you might as well try and get the deal, even if it's only 30 bucks profit, you don't want to walk away from it. Honestly, if you can't make any profit on the phone, the customer doesn't think, that they did anything wrong, I would try and get out of that deal and just basically walk away and tell them, hey, you didn't describe the phone in the condition that you said. You're not willing to, go lower on your price or anything, and you just sometimes got to walk away. And sometimes this tactic, if you're smooth and kind of firm with it, if you tell them, hey, I can offer you $50 because it's got a cracked screen, and they say, no, absolutely not, and you tell them, well, you didn't tell me that, and that's why I offered the higher price. Let me know if you change your mind. If you spin around after you say that or get up out of a table and start walking away, I've actually had customers say, hey, or yell my name, and say, hey, Luke, as I'm walking out the door of, a restaurant or a gas station, and they say, well, you're right, I changed my mind. Sometimes you kind of have to change the psychology of the situation and make them realize that, hey, you didn't describe something, even if they think that they're in the right. So that being said, I see a lot of new people doing this, just basically, trusting the customer too much. Like I said, first rule of phone flipping, never trust the customer. And I don't mean never, but never trust them fully. Because if you do, you're going to get scammed, you're going to get screwed one way or another, or you're not going to make money. And we're all in this business to make a profit off of phones, treat people fairly, treat them professionally, and then go home, list them, and, make money and go on our way and go on to the next sale. If you got customers all the time that are getting in the way of your profits because you don't know how to negotiate, or you can't kind of get your way around a liar or somebody who's just not describing their products right, you're not going to make money. So this is kind of an important tip of negotiation. Just don't be naive. Don't trust customers too much. And also, when you have a customer that is a repeat customer, keep your guard up, because I've seen people get robbed, people get scammed by repeat customers that slowly build up personal trust with people like us who are buyers or flippers, and then after that, they scam you, and it's usually a big one. I had somebody that I personally know that was flipping phones. They kept dealing with the same guy, and then all of a sudden, he got 3 sealed phones, or they seemed to be sealed. They were the same weight as an actual phone, and the guy actually filled the box full of sand, and he put plastic around the sand, so when you shook the box, you couldn't hear that there was sand in it, and they were the same weight as an actual iPhone. So he must have had an iPhone, filled it with sand with plastic, resealed it, and put it on the scale, and then he sold them, and a friend of mine basically bought a bunch of XS Maxes, and, he lost out on money. So keep that in mind, keep your guard up. First rule of phone flipping, don't ever trust the customer. Don't trust them fully, and keep your guard up. Don't be naive. Watch out for it. Negotiate through it. And, if you get there and the phone's just completely toast and it's not what they described and you can't make a profit, don't be afraid to walk away, because a deal you walk away from that you can't make any profit is just a waste of your time, so don't feel bad walking away from it. That being said, I hope you all enjoyed today's video. Hope you got some value from it. Make sure you hit subscribe, smash that like button, and I will see you in the next video.